here we go. All right, we're back, finally. It's been 2 months, I think.
I believe it's been about 2 months, yeah.
I hopped a pond and back by the time we did this, okay? It's been a minute.
Hit me with some new topics, senpai.
I got it. Do you think that you could knock out The Rock if he presented his head to you and you had a steel chair? Do you think you could knock him out in one swing of the steel chair?
A steel chair?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well...
Now, my take is, I believe it would be difficult because he has taken a lot of steel chairs. He probably knows how to deal with this.
I think I could get really close.
Yeah.
I think I could.
Yeah. You could knock him cold out.
I think what I would do... I mean, it's a steel chair. Does it I mean, the whole thing is steel.
Yeah. You can grip it however you like.
Can I position him however
He's
I'd like?
pretty... Yeah, he's in a vulnerable position. You know?
Okay,
he's like
I would,
bent over.
I mean, yeah, I'd execution block. I'd be like, get on your knees.
Right.
And then,
Do you think one hit you could... I mean, I'm going to try to kill him. I'm going to go for overkill.
I think that's what you have to do, because if you are trying to, fulfill the mission, that's what you do.
Yeah,
I honestly think I could.
You get like $1 billion if you kill him, $1 million if you knock him out,
That would be the weirdest news headline.
He's like,
Elon Musk fulfills promise on Champions Purse for knocking out The Rock. Austin kills The Rock.
yeah.
Semicolon.
Yeah. Funeral Saturday
He's
morning.
dead now.
Yeah. You're like, oh, fuck. The Rock is dead?
I can't believe he...
How?
What did he get out of this this
Someone
mission?
paid him a steel chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think if I, put him in the right position and maybe I trained for it, there was a training montage,
right,
where I just was hitting dummies over the head for a good 3 days. Yeah, I think so.
See, this leads into my next topic. How confident are you with no practice doing the first pitch at a baseball game?
Oh God, no! I can't. My
No?
accuracy is god awful.
Really?
I'd have a better chance being a hitter than I would pitcher.
Wow. Okay, I was not raised a sports kid, but I am confident.
I
I'm getting it across
see
the
you
line,
being
no
accurate.
problem.
You could see why I'd be a better hitter. It's
Yeah.
literally we're just different that way.
Yeah.
I am not. My arm is I have power.
Right.
There's no accuracy.
I honestly
you put a
think-
bat in my hand though, I could whack that shit maybe.
Yeah, because I honestly
If
think
you throw if you were on the mound at the Orioles stadium,
right,
and you threw me a
put me in Baltimore of all the fucking dog shit cities.
well,
in this
you're dog
country.
shit, so no. Well, we're both dog shit together.
Yeah.
But if you threw me a little,
In a game way.
a little labaroo, I think I could thwack that shit pretty
Yeah.
far. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you threw conversely, if you gave me an MLB just standard 95 mile an hour fastball pitch, I still think I'd have a better chance of hitting it than I would throwing
Really?
it accurate. Yes.
I think the average person has a 0% chance of hitting a 95 per hour fastball, literally a 0%.
if it's can you throw a fastball or can
No, I'm
you
not
hit
saying
a fastball?
throw. I'm saying you're just that first pitch guy. Like George Bush gets up on the mound. And
I'm
he
just telling
does
you the answer is no, I could not.
No.
And then semicolon, I'd have a better chance of hitting than I would throwing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What
I
if you
can't-
had what if you have 2 weeks to practice? Do you think you can do it?
Oh, well, maybe.
Maybe. I cannot believe how unconfident people are on this, because I've seen the montages where every celebrity gets up there and they throw the first pitch and half of them are
Bro, give me any other sport challenge.
Really?
I have no aim with a baseball. I don't know what it is. If you were could you throw a slants pass to Marshawn Lynch in the
Right.
Super Bowl? I'd be like, yes.
I'd pretty confidently. I'm not that tall, so that's the only issue I'm coming up with. I can throw a football just fine.
I could throw a football. I cannot throw a baseball.
Wow.
I don't know what it is. The second it leaves my fingertips, it's just Chuck E. Cheese, sloppy cheese pizza pass. It's not happening.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did
No.
you play catch as a kid?
Nope.
Oh, see.
My
My
kicked
dad
a
would
baseball around.
my dad would fucking bean me
Okay,
with
well,
the goddamn
I
ball.
think we
sometimes.
just found out why the answer for you is
And
yes. The answer for me
he would
is
do this
no.
thing where we had we went to Target or fucking Fred Meyer or whatever. Got
We
real
used to go to
gloves.
Target and he'd bean me.
Yeah, he'd fucking beat the shit out of me in the parking lot. We'd go get mitts and we'd practice as if I was fucking trying out for the baseball team. And he would do every 50 throws he'd do a little too hard, and then I try to get him back, you know? And I developed like the accuracy and power to like throw a baseball well.
I
you
just
know?
never played catch as a kid.
It's like he was preparing me and my sister for every sport individually, and then we never fucking played. Well, I never played the sports. Like I literally played a sport he didn't even train me for, lacrosse, and then my sister played football, t-ball,
yeah, but
basketball.
think of all of the practice you got hitting those other poor orangutans in the forest.
God damn. You know, I don't know how it'd stack up. I'm just so little. I hate that. I should have been like a soccer player or something, you know?
Yeah, you could have been a soccer player. I mean, most athletes, like in any sport, are around 6 foot.
Yeah, yeah. I guess other than
Unless you're a fucking jockey.
car racing, they're
Or a
they're
jockey.
like pilots. Yeah, they're small.
racing in general, smaller is better.
Yeah, it's weird because I still see like most motorsport has gone to that like twink look where they're skinny, and if they're tall, they're very very skinny. You know, but they're like soccer players, they're athletes. NASCAR is still the Bubba Gump. It doesn't. I've been thinking about certain types of certain TV shows, especially lately. Addams Family keeps coming up, right? Like Addams Family, for whatever reason, there's like a Burger King fucking menu item with Addams Family.
Right.
Wednesday,
The Addams Family
show.
burger. Yeah.
Muppets is kind of a pervasive thing. I watched the Muppets when I was like fucking 3.
Yeah.
But it keeps coming up, and I'm like, is this the SpongeBob of their generation? Like, was the Addams Family that big in the late 60s, or was the Muppets that big in the 80s or whatever that it like kept going? And now like SpongeBob's the same thing, where like 20 years later it's still huge. Like my kids know all about SpongeBob, and they did not grow up watching the show. They've never seen an episode of SpongeBob that I know of, and they're well aware of it. And I'm like, I didn't really grow up watching Addams Family, but it's everywhere. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's lazy corporatization of member berries. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is. If it's a successful IP, it's going to be marketed to the ground. So it doesn't matter what it is. Addams Family, Muppets, you know, whatever. I think South Park really fucking knocked it out of the park.
They did a great job with that.
Because it you know,
nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
My mom's really into Peanuts. Like Snoopy's her favorite thing, you know, her favorite like piece of media. And I'm like, maybe it's because it's an old piece of media. I just don't get it, you know? Like, and maybe it's a millennials killing that type of thing, but like, I didn't grow up with Addams Family. I don't give a fuck about the Addams Family burger.
You're a bit more, you have like a detachedness about you where your personality is like, why would I care? Like that's kind of your MO. So I think that you are a bit more removed from that conversation. But a lot of people, like me, for example, if I see Calvin and Hobbes, like I get a warm heart in my.
I do too.
I get a warm feeling in my heart where I'm like, oh, I love that comic book. Like, I used to read that in library in elementary school with my friends. Like, I don't know, like. It just kind of is one of those things where it is lame when corporate elements like embrace nostalgia.
Yeah.
But nostalgia is always going to be nostalgia.
I appreciate the nostalgia. Maybe it's just because I'm a millennial and I have a different take on whatever the media is. Like, I just feel like Addams Family is so boring and so like nothing that I'm like, why does it keep going?
Right.
Like, is it just people that watched it back then? Or like, okay, I get it. I watched Wednesday. I get it. It was popular.
Wednesday was good.
It was really good.
I liked Wednesday.
But like, I don't really care about the whole lore or like the Addams Family characters or like whatever. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna be fucking Gomez for Christmas, like, or for Halloween. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, it just doesn't hit. And same with Muppets especially. It seems like that should have just died in the 80s, but it's still going. Gen Xers are still fucking.
I didn't realize Muppets was like a big thing.
Every
Is that
once
really
in a while,
a big thing right now?
In my perception, I'll be watching TV and there'll be a commercial and it'll be fucking Miss Piggy and Kermit, you know, doing their thing. And I'm like,
You remember the sexy M&M? The M&M?
The green M&M?
Yeah. With like the high top boots.
The M&Mussy.
The M&M.
I don't know. I don't, honestly. I don't think I was watching cable TV at that point.
No, but it's just.
I heard about Fox News losing their shit over it, but I don't remember like seeing it. Like, I don't remember.
That's not the point that I was going for. I wasn't going to say that like it was conservatives being upset. I think my point being is that if anything makes money in the society, corporations are going to put more of that out because it's a proven track record.
Yeah, it's a proven thing. Yeah,
and people keep watching it.
It's just weird, like Addams Family, and what the fuck? It's just an odd one. I get Scooby Doo, which is funny because here's the trivia behind Scooby Doo, right? I'm pretty sure there was only like 1 or 2 seasons, or like all of 20 episodes of Scooby Doo in 1969 or whatever it came out. It was just later on we kept fucking making Scooby Doo spin-offs. It was like, oh, Scooby Doo teenagers, or Scooby Doo with Scrappy, or like the live action movies in the 2000s. Like, it just kept fucking going. Hanna-Barbera just kept fucking milking that shit, that IP. And it's like, whoa. And it's the exact same story every single time. There's never been a deviation in an episode other than like the movies where it's like, oh, there's a car race. What's at the end of the car race? They pull a mask off a guy. Like,
I remember watching that live action Scooby Doo shit when it came out when I was in like, what, 7th grade or something?
Yeah, it was somewhere, late elementary or early middle school for me, at least.
Either way.
Yeah. Well, over. I think Freddie Prinze Jr. I mean, everyone liked him at the time. He's not.
Who's that?
He was Fred. Oh. He was Fred. And then Matthew Lillard was Shaggy, which I think was the greatest casting.
That's good
of
casting.
all time.
That's good casting.
I love Matthew Lillard. I think he should have been in more shit. He was perfect.
He was that guy that was in Without a Paddle, right?
Yeah.
That guy's he fits perfectly.
Criminally underrated actor. He was in SLC Punk, which I keep talking about.
He was in one of those shows that my girlfriend really liked. It was I'm gonna do a bit of a tangent here, and then we'll get there. It's a roundabout way, but the show Mad Men.
Yeah.
What was that show that she mained in, where she was like the leader of like a ragtag group of girls that like did heists?
Not a clue.
Okay,
couldn't tell you.
Either way,
I honestly don't know what she's been in other than Mad Men.
She was one of those Netflix type shows, and basically she was like, "What if?" And she did kind of like the Pulp Fiction thing, where she was like, "What if we robbed a grocery store?" And it's like,
no one would suspect.
Yeah, no, literally. And then it was like, have you seen Parks and Recreation?
Yeah.
I forget her name, but she's like the office admin that's a big black woman.
Yeah, I know.
She's like, okay, we'll get her, and then we'll get that weirdly shaped white woman from something or other.
Kate Miucci.
Yeah, I think maybe. And then they were like, we're gonna be a bunch of girls that like steal stuff. It was like a famous Netflix show. Yeah. Either way. The guy that you were talking about earlier that played Shaggy was like the cheater husband. Right. It was a whole thing. But.
I feel like I've seen something about that, but yeah, for some reason that piece of media, like I'm really good about, if I've never seen a show, I still know who's in it for whatever fucking reason. Like I'm kind of into celebrities and like whatever, but just that one missed me, I guess. Damn.
Yeah. No, I mean, it wasn't that bad. I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah.
With her, of course.
Have you seen any Ridley Scott films lately?
Ridley Scott. No,
he made Napoleon, and then he did the Prometheus.
Oh, you hated Napoleon.
So here's my take on Napoleon.
I didn't see it. Yeah, give me your take.
So I only made it about 20 minutes into this movie, which is kind of
Joaquin Phoenix, right?
Yeah. And I love Joaquin. I thought
he's a great actor.
I thought him and the Joker was fantastic. And I know the Joker was...
You're talking about Joker 2, of course, right?
I have not seen Joker 2. I bet it's not that bad.
I heard it was a dumpster fire.
I bet it was. I bet I would like it. Honestly, I like Lady Gaga and I like Joaquin Phoenix, so I bet I would enjoy it.
Really?
I like musicals.
That's a hot take. Okay.
I think the Joker was great, and I think it's underrated now because people are like kind of weird about like.
I don't think the first Joker is underrated at all. I mean, it was really widely praised.
My only problem with it is a direct ripoff of Taxi Driver, which I think is also a better film in general. I think Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver is just a better like psycho whatever, like down on his luck. He has problems, whatever.
That's a cheap comparison, I feel like. But go ahead.
It's literally the same premise. It's crazy how similar it is. Like, I couldn't tell you 2 movies that were more similar than those 2 movies.
They were similar, but I mean, they were very different.
It's literally like late 70s New York City. The city is literally filthy because of the garbage situation. They're both like driving around or having weird odd jobs. They're both going back to their apartments and acting crazy. They're both like, you want to fuck with me? You know, like they're like pointing the gun in the mirror. You know, like they always have like a weird sexual relationship with a lady that like goes horribly, where like he takes a girl to a porn theater as a first date. And you're like, well, no shit, bro. That didn't work. Like, same thing in the Joker. Like, it was the same movie, but obviously,
I think it's very different in a lot of ways. But I hear there's
okay.
Don't get me wrong, a lot of similarities.
Yeah. My point stands. Joaquin's great. Him in Napoleon was so bafflingly stupid, where he literally just raises his hand to like call the troops or whatever. He doesn't do anything. There's no like riveting dialogue. You know how like American Psycho, the entire movie is riveting dialogue.
Yeah.
Every scene is.
Let's see Paul Allen's right arm raise.
Yeah. Every scene is Christian Bale and Willem Dafoe, or Christian Bale and
my God, William Dafoe. Ugh, so good.
And Jared Leto, or every single scene is perfect in that movie when it comes to the dialogue. It's all based around it. Like, obviously, there's the killing scenes or whatever. It's fantastic. Napoleon had none of that, and that's what it needed, was like a great speech before a battle.
Yeah, but Austin, what you're not recognizing is that Gen Alpha and Gen Z doesn't appreciate good dialogue.
I think they do. I think there's plenty of good.
don't.
I don't think this movie was made for them. It was clearly made for
That is a good point.
like geezers or something. I don't know who. That's another
Who's it
problem.
made for?
I don't know who it was made for,
Yeah.
because clearly I'm like the history nerd that should be watching Napoleon, and I'm just bored out of my fucking
See,
mind.
here's the thing. You have a really good historical understanding of things, so it's annoying to you when the movie's not really tailored to any particular audience. If it was made for historical folk, then it would have been cool.
Yeah.
If it was just a solid war movie, that would have been one thing.
Exactly.
But it sounds like to me it was neither.
It was just dog shit in every way.
Yeah.
And that's what gets me into Killers of the Flower Moon,
Oh, God.
which I think is a great movie.
Anytime I see a movie that has a runtime of 4 hours,
Okay, this had like 3.5. It was
and
long.
you hate Leonardo. You've
I do.
told
I
me
do.
on so many times.
I
that you
hate Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's the most.
But you
overrated
liked him in this
actor.
one.
I really liked him because he subverted your expectations. Where like you think so. The premise is Native Americans struck oil in like Oklahoma, Kansas, whatever, and they became very wealthy. This is like a true story. They became very wealthy, and then the white people married into their families and then started murdering them.
Okay.
Like this all happened in real life as well. So Robert De Niro is like the old, kind of Southern talking white guy. He's like, well, if you marry, you taking a liking to this one native girl, huh? Yeah, they are pretty, aren't they? Well, let's say you marry one of them and perhaps you get put into the will. I think that'll do nicely for our family.
So is he trying to arrange this type of...
So De Niro isn't necessarily saying, go marry this native girl and get their money, but I'm not saying don't.
Right.
I'm not saying that's a bad idea.
Right.
I'm just saying, I'm just talking.
I'm just laying this out here.
I'm just laying this
Matt.
out for you, that this, because he, like,
This
Leonardo,
is an opportunity, much like a ice cold tea on a balcony.
Leonardo comes back from like a war, and like maybe it's a Spanish American War or something like that, and he was like useless in the war, like he was just doing some fucking like desk job, and he comes back and his uncle's Robert De Niro, and he's like, well, yeah, that does sound good, and then immediately he's like a taxi driver or something, sort of, and he's like, this native girl is the person he's driving around, and he's like, Uncle, I think I'm taking a like to her.
Kind of like, driving Miss Daisy his way into that.
Yeah, he's like, oh, she is a nice looking one, isn't she?
She's a real flower.
And she's got a couple sisters, so we could also arrange some of that. And like, eventually start murdering the native girls, and Leonardo, you think maybe he's going to be the good white guy. He's going to marry for love.
He's poised as a good character.
He's kind of poised as the good character,
Right.
as the only good one of all these white guys that are, bad intentions. No, he murders her sister. He blows up his sister, like her sister's house. He's like, every time a sister dies, because it's like one step closer to like him getting the full amount of money.
How is this supposed to subvert my expectations? It's a movie about native people.
You kind of expect.
I go into that being like, okay, the white guy's going to be bad. And I mean,
Right.
also, like, I love Django Unchained. Leo probably was casted as the bad guy.
Leo
So duh.
acts so well that you think, oh, his
Okay.
intentions are pure.
That's what I'm saying. See, this is why I never understood why you never liked him, because he's
I think he's just kind of a piece of shit person. I don't like, and I don't like some of his roles. Like I thought, like if like he won an Oscar or whatever for The Revenant.
You didn't like The Revenant?
Fucking stupid
But
movie.
it's a
No.
similar point where he's like, well, not a similar point at all, actually, but there is kind of an overlap where he, basically his life is saved by a native man.
Right. Yeah. I just think like the dialogue again, like this movie is one of those where it's like the dialogue is very.
Well, then why didn't you like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Because it's a similar thing where it's like
I liked a couple.
His dialogue acting was
I liked
amazing.
some of that. It's the setting for me. I hate Los Angeles to the point where it becomes like Los Angeles in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So it's not even that you didn't
like the movie. You despise the setting in which it takes place.
I despise the Manson lore, and I despise L.A. as a setting
because it's overplayed.
No, I think it's ugly. I think it's really like it makes my eyes hurt almost, like to see like the urban sprawl and the sun and the sort of desert that it is. Like, I don't like that place. I've been there.
That's the idea.
When I go there, I feel very uncomfortable.
But that's the idea. You're supposed to hate it, and then you're supposed to be happy with the outcome, because at the end of the day, what's her name? She was pregnant at the time. What's her name? Fucking the Manson family.
Cheryl Tate?
Cheryl Tate was brutally murdered.
Yeah.
That's why it's called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is because the ending is ultimately a positive outcome.
Yeah, and I just I don't know. I don't care for it. I don't care for old Hollywood aesthetics. I don't care for the 60s as a setting either. I just think things are very.
I don't care for a whole decade.
I think it's the 60s and 70s. I think they're ugly.
It's such an.
I know that's a really nitpicky thing.
It's beyond nitpicky, honestly. Like, it's the 60s and 70s is a huge span of Americana.
Well, okay, so I like No Country for Old Men, which takes place in the 70s, but it's got that like we're all.
Well, it's Texas.
Yeah, Texas is much more comfortable, and like.
Well, I guess you are back in the South with Tears of the Flower Moon, or whatever the fuck it's called.
It's definitely the plains, not it's like Kansas, Oklahoma, that kind of area.
Well, Oklahoma is practically Texas.
I would honestly say once you get into northern Texas and Oklahoma, it becomes such a different landscape. Like at least having been in parts of Texas, it is a different aesthetic.
Okay. Well, I don't mean to pick apart everything you're saying. Anyway, finish your point.
Yeah, didn't really care for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I wouldn't watch it again. I've seen it twice, and I'm done. I don't need to see it again.
Twice is more than enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't watch any movie more than twice, really, unless it's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah. What's one or two movies that you'd watch like right now? Like you'd be like,
the first Matrix.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Love that movie.
Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
Really any of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Right. Okay, those are runtime though. Like that's kind of a problem for me. Is like runtime of Lord of the Rings.
Dude,
is a little.
Tears of the Flower Moon is 4 hours.
I'm saying it's like 3.5. Like it's a long.
I'm saying it's 3.5. Yeah, it's 3.5. Okay. So is Return of the King, which is the longest installment.
I've never seen Return of the King.
What?
No, I've never seen the whole thing. At least all the way through.
God damn! Have you seen Fellowship and Two Towers all the way through?
I've seen Fellowship all the way. I've not seen Two Towers all the way. I get to the Ents, and the Ents were. I obviously need to see it as an adult because I saw it like
when I was younger. You need to rewatch it, man. It's honestly some of the best movie making.
Oh, 326 is killers. So
now look up runtime of Return of the King. It's the longest.
Return of the King. I bet it's 412.
No, it's not. That's maybe extended. Because you have to remember that this is theatrical we're talking about.
Oh, I actually had it right there.
I would say
321. Okay, yeah. So less.
So less, yeah.
Wow. I was on a plane, so I didn't really feel the runtime of Killers of the Flower Moon.
Well, when you're up in the sky, the runtime is different. And you also get more emotional in the sky, too.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I've cried watching airplane movies.
Yeah?
Oh, my God, yeah.
I saw it.
Because you kind of have to, like, focus on the movie. You got those shitty little earbuds. Yeah. And it's like there's a scene that comes up, and you're like...
Yeah,
like it's tender.
I watched Interstellar because I was really stoked for Interstellar. Like I'm such a sci-fi nerd.
Martin Short?
No,
the one where they like
Matthew McConaughey and Hathaway.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Inner Space.
Oh, I've never seen Inner Space.
Oh, dude, that's a good one. So the premise of the movie is that there is this guy who basically the government has to put a small spaceship inside of his body, and Harrison Ford is driving the spaceship inside of Martin Short's body. It's fucking awesome.
Bizarre.
No, it's bizarre. And there's this whole government like angle to it. Dude, you gotta check that out.
Wait,
it's really cool.
Have we ever talked about Bicentennial Man?
I've never watched that. I don't know anything about that.
You have to see that movie. That is a movie.
You're telling me about how I have to watch things and you haven't watched either The Two Towers or Return of the King?
Okay. I'm not that into fantasy.
You're basically like telling me I need to read Goodnight Moon and you haven't read like fucking War and Peace. What are you talking about?
No, okay. Okay, first of all, I'm not that into fantasy. I know that I come off as a person that's like, I like Skyrim and World of Warcraft, and like, I'm much more of a sci-fi person when it comes to movies. Fantasy movies, I don't really care for Princess Bride that much. I know that's like blasphemous. I just don't give a fuck about medieval shit in movies for whatever reason, or like magic in movies, or like sometimes worlds just don't.
Yeah, but Lord of the Rings is transcendental. It goes above the genre. Peter Jackson's vision, he fully recognized Tolkien's writings.
Yeah.
It's the best trilogy ever made.
Yeah.
There's name a better trilogy than Lord of the Rings.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
There isn't.
Yeah,
it's the best trilogy ever made. You can
always
argue The Matrix.
No, not at all. I would never argue The Matrix as the best trilogy.
The first Matrix was quite
yeah,
good.
I pretend the other two don't exist, to be honest. Well, and then there's a fourth, but I've never seen it. I don't care.
That's how good the Lord of the Rings trilogy is.
They're all three are perfect.
So
many people say that, and I need to sit down and just watch all those movies by myself.
No, you got to watch them with me.
Yeah.
We just need to get a big old thing of Mexican food and a big rack of beer and just honestly smoke a little bit of weed.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's the best trilogy ever made.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I feel like do you like the other two Matrix movies? Like, do you think 2 or 3 is okay? Like, would you watch them again?
I enjoy them, but it's hard to even compare them to the first.
Yeah.
The first is like it's the full on entering the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's even fucking heavy-handedly referenced in the first one, Alice in Wonderland. Like you follow the white rabbit. Like it's in the first Matrix is amazing. The second one, great action, cool.
Kind of goes off the rails a little bit.
The third one, they unfortunately fall prey to the I don't even know what you call that. It's like the stereotypical Christ-like trope where Neo is like, okay,
he's literally the chosen one.
I'm gonna die and then be plugged in by death. And that's what happens.
I think the problem with the third one, especially, is they spend less time in the Matrix. They spend more time in the real world. The real world fucking sucks. You're eating gruel all day, and Lawrence Fishburne is lecturing you about being the one, and you're like, bro, I just want to go surf and hang out. And he's like, Neo, you literally are
eat
Jesus. Yeah, he's like, eat. No, Neo, no, you can't have steak for dinner every night. You need to eat this milk and gruel. It's like,
well, all the more reason for you to partake in the Lord of the Rings trilogy because what's at stake is not gruel. What's at stake is the fucking Middle Earth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and also, I mean, the lore goes really deep. I never read the books. I should have.
Yeah.
But
I've read more of the books than I've seen the movies. That's my thing.
Every time I watch it, I'm reminded that like Gandalf basically is like an angel.
Yeah.
And he can't use all of his, full magic with these little hobbits because it would the movie would be over in 2 seconds.
Yeah. The fucking eagles can't fly them.
Right. Right. Well, also the thing you have to remember is Isildur, the guy who could have cast the ring into Mount Doom.
Right.
What's her dad?
Steven Tyler.
Yeah, whatever. The guy who plays Agent Smith in Lord of the Rings. In The Matrix. Well, either way, Agent Smith.
Yeah.
The actor in Lord of the Rings, basically, Isildur was at the fires of Mount Doom, ready to cast the ring into the fires, and then he was basically like, I'm not going to do it. And he walks away with the ring, and that's how the movie fully begins.
Yeah. Hugo Weaving.
If Hugo Weaving had just been like, no, destroy it.
Yeah.
And he said no, then push him in the fucking lake of fire. Mm-hmm. But he didn't. And the movie begins with that premise of he just said, I'm not going to do it. It's like, bro, you could have implemented your own will and pushed him in with.
Right.
You know, but either way, great movie.
Yeah.
I think we end this one here because you're about to. So.
All right. Well.
Episode whatever.